What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of View for ReZero, Season 3. This is episode 7, and with me, as always, I have Bluespade.
Yep. So this is a 30-minute long episode. Um and of course, what was it? People on Twitter were speculating that that whole speech by Super was going to last 10 minutes. I clocked the speech in at like around 5 6 minutes at most. I mean,
Yeah,
it's not.
like I said, I couldn't imagine it actually being 10 minutes long. I
Yeah.
figured they'd probably cut it down.
Yeah, most likely. I mean, I highly doubted it would be like a full 10 minutes, considering that that the episode is at least 10 minutes longer than normal. But yeah, overall it wasn't too bad. Um, but I mean, not much action. It was just mostly oh, e- everyone like gathering their thoughts and like what the witch cult is planning and how they're coordinating, you know, their efforts in the city. But it turns out, like thanks to Emilia informing Al of what's happening, and then of course Super like um, getting the gist of like that the witch cult are not as organized as they thought they were, due to the fact that as we found out in the last episode that Regulus was angry at Capella for opening up one of the floodgates, without letting him know about that. So it turns out, like Subaru, of course, deduces that like the witch cult is not organized as that they thought they were.
Yeah, so we also find out, I guess, how Al got his hands on that magical communication mirror thing.
Yeah,
Apparently, he had killed some of the witch cultists, and I guess, one of them had that device. That's how he was able to get in contact with Amelia. And basically, Amelia tells him that she's, I guess that to relay to relay some message to Subaru, or something like that. But she decides to stay behind basically, and she, well she decides to just like that she's not going to escape, and that eventually she does. I guess pretty much around the end of the episode, decides that she's going to stay behind and help Regulus's wives, basically like essentially like trying to free them from him in her own way, I guess.
hmm yeah, and eventually Al relays all the information that Amelia gave him to Subaru and the others, and of course we like you said, with Amelia staying behind. Like she of course talks to one of Regulus's wives. I keep forgetting. Well, I mean, she doesn't say her name, but um,
Yeah, I think she
she,
does have a name, but I
yeah,
don't know if she revealed it yet.
yeah, and of course, like she does express some amount of emotion, which like she's not supposed to. But like you mentioned before, Emilia is willing to help her and the rest of, well, Regulus's quote unquote wives, uh, escape his grasp somehow. And then soon afterwards, as Super and others are thinking about how they're gonna approach, like, um, I guess, like calming down the entire populace of the city. They're thinking about like who's gonna like get up on the speaker to inform the entire population of, like, what's happening and such. And everyone, like, Subaru keeps suggesting each and every person in the room, but of course they don't feel like they're the right fit until like everybody else agrees that Subaru is the one who should be giving the speech.
Yeah, and I guess it's just because, for the very reason that nobody really knows who Subaru is, that he's not like he's not a political figure like Anastasia or any of the other royal candidates, and also I guess the people who are close to him think that he should do it just based on the achievements he's already, or what he's already done in the series. Um, which, of course, unbeknownst to them, was through much trial and error. But to them, he was able to do all of this, of course, on the first go around, defeat the white whale, and beat Betelgeuse, and also free Sanctuary. So they think that I guess that there's something about him So they think, I guess for those reasons, he might be qualified to give this speech. But of course, Subaru doesn't think that that he's really capable of sort of rallying or motivating all the people that are in the with trapped in the shelters. And he doesn't really have a prepared speech, so he just kind of it just feels like he's pretty much winging it the whole time. I know a lot of people were hyping this speech up, and saying it was, I guess, one of the best parts probably of the arc. So I was wondering how it was gonna go, but a lot of it was just him trying to, in a way, like, I guess, relate to the people who are trapped in those shelters, and saying like, I know, essentially, like, I know you're afraid, but look to the people next to you, and know that they're, I guess, feeling the same way that you are, and that you should essentially like try to lean on each other and trust each other, and that way you'll, like, get out of the situation. I guess in a way he's saying all that because that's pretty much what he's had to do throughout the series so far, is just try to rely on other people to get himself out of a lot of the situations he's found himself in. So I guess that's basically like what he's trying to convey to everybody. And of course it ends up working, because it does get all the people that listen to the speech. It does, like, I guess, motivate them, and make it so that they're not really, I guess, in a way, under the influence of Sirius's authority, and now they're just more that they're more willing to try to help each other out in a way, even though they're just kind of trapped in those shelters at the moment.
Yeah,
But in this way, they won't, like, start going at each other and fighting each other and all that, which is what we saw in one of the shelters.
yeah. I mean, the speech itself, it's not more. It doesn't feel much like a rallying cry or anything like that. It's more of a, like, everything's going to be fine sort of speech. Um,
Yeah,
it's
and then of course he promises that he's going to be the one to get rid of all the witch cultists. Um, as for how he's going to do that, he's obviously, like, I mean, he basically makes some pretty big promises that I guess it remains to be seen if he's going to be able to actually do any of that. But
yeah,
it's more so just to get people, to actually, I guess, like, to, in a way, to, like, hope again, or to hope that everything's going to be okay.
yeah, and and of course, everybody in the room. I guess they expressed their approval about how Subaru executed this speech, and
On a
I
side note too, I did think it was funny that before he did the speech, like, one of the people he suggested actually, like, do the speech was Crush. But I'm just wondering, I'm like, Super. When I was watching this, I was like, did he forget what just happened to her in, like, the last episode, or one of the last episodes, that she's in pretty bad shape right now, so I don't think she's in any condition to do anything like
oh,
that. Um,
yeah, and
but
not
we do see her, like, open her eyes at some point. So
yeah.
uh,
So yeah, like soon after that, they're eventually going to start their counterattack against the witch cultist, and then of course they're joined by both Otto and Reinhard by the end of the episode. So yeah, it was a pretty decent episode. I mean, not much really happened, within the 30-minute span. But
yeah,
of
it
course,
was a very dialogue heavy episode. Like,
yeah,
unlike some of the previous episodes, which were a lot more action oriented, this was much more just dialogue. But it was pretty good, though. I mean,
yeah,
I think obviously the highlight is just the speech that Subaru gives. I thought it was pretty well done. And it really just highlights, Subaru as a character and the struggles he's been through, and it really just felt like his way of conveying that to other people,
mm,
and trying to, I guess, relate to people in that sense. That he's pretty much had to be sort of like the underdog through the whole series, and try to, and sort of, like, make people believe that he's capable of doing things, they wouldn't think he could do. I mean, Julius even points out before he gives the speech that I guess the reason why he thought Subaru was qualified to give the speech was because his willingness to stand up to people who are, like in season 1, how he's able to, like, stand up to the knights and just kind of call them out, even though, like, nobody else would have done that. Uh,
yeah.
yeah. So But yeah, I mean, like you said, I thought it was a good episode. It didn't feel like a longer episode, even though it was. Mostly because it just, it felt like it went by pretty quickly, honestly. Even though
Yeah.
it was like a lot more just dialogue heavy and not a lot of action really was happening. Um, but it still was, pretty good for what it was. And obviously, it's just kind of setting up for them to, I guess, eventually go and try to. I probably am guessing like go to take down Regulus.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, next week is of course the mid-season finale, and
yeah.
unfortunately, it's gonna suck that we're gonna have to wait until February to find out what's gonna happen. Starting with the second half. So, and I don't know if like next week is gonna be like just gonna be a standard episode, or if it's gonna be maybe an extended 1 hour episode, mid-season
Well,
finale.
I would assume if it's the mid-season finale that we can probably expect it's going to be a longer episode. That's just my guess.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, well, so far there's no announcement or no hints from anyone online that's really hinting that it might be a longer episode. But I mean, we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, it does suck that we're already you know like midway through the season already, and then we have to wait like all the way until February.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't really have anything else to say about the episode. I don't know if you have anything else to say about it.
Yeah, I definitely think it was a decent episode. I guess in a way, I guess hyping us up for like what's gonna happen next week. Of like, well, what Subaru and the others are gonna end up doing, making their next move against the witch cultist. Now that they find out that they're not as organized as they seem to be, and much of this is they just feel like many of the witch cultists like Regulus, Sirius, and Capella feel like they're acting more independently from each other.
Yeah, I mean, it's not really that surprising considering they're all just completely insane. So, I mean,
Yeah.
it doesn't seem like they have any real like organization. Like they're all just acting of their own volition and doing whatever they want.
Yeah.
Uh,
But yeah, it's good episode. Definitely can't wait for next week to see what happens.
yeah. Yeah, I guess so that all being said, until next time, we will see you all later.